It's your boy Bleeve. Everybody listen up. Let's get it. I'm trying to put money in your pocket. That crypto wallet. That bing bada bing ching ching big profit. Even when the market's sideways, I'm looking for ways to get paid. I'm checking my coins around breakfast, then again around bedtime. Bet this, it's not financial advice, but I'm always right. 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 I'm always right.
What is going on, everybody? I hope you're having a great evening. My name is Bleeves. This is Bedtime with Bleeves. We're going to tuck you in with all that sweet, sweet knowledge that you need to survive this crypto landscape. And I hope that you had a good day so far. I hope that everything's been good for you. I hope you made a little bit of money. I hope this was a prosperous day for everybody. Let's check it out. Tom Collide in the house. What is going on, my man? Martin Morrow in the house. Richard Caldwell's here, and Richard Nelson and Lando A. Kamal is in the house. Hunter's in the house. Make sure you hit that like button on the way in. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for the support. That certainly helps me quite a bit. Also, let's go jump in here. RW7610. We're going to jump in here and we're going to check out. So you can basically see it right here. This is the status right now. I'm up 9.5% on my long. Only $36, but you know, what we're doing is we're just trying to pull this over and over and over. So I'm up 9.5% right now. So if you remember, what we did was, and I told you guys yesterday that this is what I was going to do. Overnight, I took the stop loss. I set myself a take profit at 30,700. So at 30,700, we sold and profited. I want to say position history. We profited about $268 off of it. So that left. Now we're in this position here. And we're looking for it to go down, right? So we took a short. So we took it at 30,700, and I set my take profit on this. Let's go check this out. I'll show you exactly where the take profit was. So the take profit I set was 28,900. I just moved it to 29,933 just a little while ago, because I was feeling like maybe there wasn't going to be as much down as I thought. So I came over here, and as you can see right here, there's this tells you exactly where you're doing it. And the reason that I did it here was because I looked at this, I looked at this, I looked at this, I looked at all these little spots that were kind of manifesting themselves. And I just felt like, you know, maybe, just maybe, this is probably the bottom. I think that the market wants to kind of send itself. So if that's the case, then who am I to stop it, right? So we'll see, you know, what happens here in the next little bit. But we did take these over here. I got to move my there and down, and we have to close these. That thing's in my way, and that is annoying as shit. All right, so there we go. So, and by the way, Bollinger Bands are starting to tighten up here. You can see this right here, and that's what I'm using over here. But the Bollinger Bands are starting to tighten up in this little range right here. Now, the problem with this little range here is that it could go either way, and that is going to suck. So I don't know which way this breaks. Now, problem, of course, is that if you take this into consideration and we're coming down, looks like we might be having a bounce here around 30,200. Because generally speaking, the bands, you know, it stays within the bands. The bands, you know, break open to support wherever it is. So it really looks like it's moving in the upward position, or at least I might be convincing myself of that. And it just looks like it wants to go higher. But hopefully it's breaking down just a little bit more, and there'll be some more downsides. So what I'm going to do though is I'm going to go back down here because I'm not going to be doing anything with this overnight. So I'm going to go back down here to the take profit. And if I get liquidated, I get liquidated. But I'm going to go back to my original 28,900, and I'm going to leave it there for the overnight. I don't want to get liquidated at 29,900, or I don't want to take profit at 29,933, especially if I feel like it's coming down here. So, I'll do that, set it back where it was before. If it does go down overnight, we'll make a couple $100, and then we'll apply that into something else. Ben Fair is in the house. What's going on, my man? So that's where we are. And now I still got about $400 here. We can go long on something if you want to, like ETH. Looking at each one of these as I go, and to be fair, like it's probably better to look at them over here. And we're getting some sell pressure right now. So that's some good news. What I'd be looking for, by the way, if I'm looking to do this, and you can't trade Ben on futures anymore because they're wrapping that up, but VRA is down here. Look at VRA. Now, it did have that nice little run up here. So it coming back down, I don't know that that's not a buy position, but for any kind of futures, I would certainly be looking for something that I would think is going to make a move. I don't know that Pepe's the one that's going to make a move. If I were to take Pepe here, I would say that it's most likely headed down and not up, but I'm looking for a positive position here. So Luna Classic maybe, but I don't know any reason for it. Bone is not down enough. I would want to be down in this area here. So I don't know. You guys think about it, and let's see if there's any. Let's just see if there's anything out there that that might have an opportunity. Solana been just crushing it all day long, having a nice little run up. Remember when Solana was dead? Like, remember, it wasn't that long ago. If we go back to the day, back in November, it was the thing that collapsed the most. Remember, it was trading here about $37, and it came all the way down here during the collapse to $12, and then it went even worse because all the stuff started coming out with FTX, and finally hit that bottom down there at $8, and then from there, it just went absolutely insane. So it'd be interesting to see that happen again. I would certainly be in for one of those, but so I'm going to sit here and wait and see how this plays out. But so the question of the night, though, the question of the night is very, very simple, and it is a Bitcoin bull market coming? And then I'm asking the question, by the way, in the poll, are we already in the bull run? Because when we go back in history, doesn't matter. And by the way, it doesn't matter whether you are sure that we're in or not in a bull run right now based on the way things are going. It doesn't really matter. What matters largely at the end of this is what we look at with the data that shows up on charts, right? Because there's no situation in which we're going to be looking at this later on and saying, the bull run actually started over here when we got this little move over here. We're going to come back over here and we're going to say that this low right here, this was the bottom. And from that point, that's when the bull run started. The bear market was over at the bottom. The bull run started. And that's the way people are going to look at it, because that's the way people always look at every single one of these. However, it does have to be said that we are now, if we're in the bear market, if we're still trying to convince ourselves that that is what we're in, then we are now in the longest bear market in Bitcoin history. So that's for you, Dylan Mulvaney. So we're now in the longest bear market in history. So yeah, gross. Now, I'm starting to get a few things that are happening over here. So let's answer the question. Let's start. And you know what? And Derek, the funny thing is, everybody's been saying bull trap for months and months and months. And when I keep telling everybody price is going up, the price is going up, everybody keeps in and they keep telling me bull trap. And guess what? None of it is ever. None of it is ever right. The only person that's been right since the beginning of this year has been me, and it's been frustrating for a bunch of people because it annoys the shit out of them. And if you tell me that it's a bull trap, then I can tell you, okay, there would be reasons that I would know whether it's a bull trap, right? Because the short ratio would be different. The long ratio would be different. There, we would be able to see the trap because the trap would have been set, and we would recognize it. Even in hindsight, we would recognize it at the start, but it's not there. Nothing is there right now. What we do have, though, is all of this. Number one, U.S. investors are driving the Bitcoin price surge as this is the important part, institutional demand rises. And Bitcoin has surged 85% so far this year. U.S. investors have been piling into Bitcoin as institutional activity has accelerated during the recent rally of the largest cryptocurrency by market capitalization. We've got the CME open interest on the CME futures market, a favored venue among sophisticated investment firms, has been nearing all-time highs. Now, you're telling me that we're not in a bull market, or we're not at least at the start of a bull market, but the CME futures are at an all-time high for Bitcoin? I don't think so. You can't convince me of that because that doesn't make any sense. See, and my point, generally speaking, is that I think that you guys sometimes are missing the obvious signs because we decide we're not in a bull market because it just doesn't feel right. We're not in a bear market because it just doesn't feel right. But we're taking our temperature right here. When you go look at Bitcoin for the year, Bitcoin's up 82%. How is that not a bull run? How at 82% are we not in a bull run? And I do have a Discord. In fact, I'll put the link in here. I don't really use it too much. I just post information into it every day. So give me 1 second here, and I will post the link to the Discord. As more people get in there and more activity starts up, I'll start to populate it with more stuff. But I do have like a couple different categories. I've got a bot that manages it. So, you know, there are, it retweets everything or covers everything that I tweet. It posts all my videos for me into there so that, so that we have, so that it's active and populated. And here we go, and got it. And how do I share this goddamn thing? All right, here we go. All right, so Discord, and there we go. All right, so that's the link to the Discord if anybody wants to join in. And then I will see you guys there. And oh, Jesus Christ, I don't want to invite a bunch of people because then I'm just going to get annoyed. All right, so institution investors revive. So now we're starting to see institutional investors coming back into the market. What we're not seeing right now is a ton of retail. But are we not seeing a ton of retail? Because let's come over here and then let's start looking at what's going on over here in this market. $772,000 in trading volume on Bencoin over the last 24 hours. 30.85 million on Pepe 2, even though it's starting to dump super hard. 4chan, 1.3 million. Pepe, the actual Pepe, 2.55 million. So are we really not seeing retail in the crypto market? So I don't think that that's the case. I think, and what about L over here? L has $557,000. What about Fumo? Fumo has 1.63 million in volume. What about Evermoon? 290,000. What about Planet? Planet has 1.95 million. What about Scott Baio? Scott Baio's got to be getting something going on. I know it's not Scott Baio, by the way, but for everybody that's on that, it's Scott Baio. 247,000. What about ApeCoin? 2.91 million. What about Bone? Maybe Bone. 217,000. What about Volt? Volt is dumping again, by the way. 92,000. Coming down again. Ben, by the way, also coming down again. Had a nice little run up to 78. Lot of money came in. To Ben today. Again, just all over again. And then all of a sudden, when the Asian market wakes up, boom, it regroups and it goes back down. So the European market goes back in, buys it up, and it goes back up again. But I digress. So anyway, back over here. The next part of the topic is this one. Bitcoin hovers over 30.3 thousand despite renewed inflation worries. So now we're worried about inflation. But Bitcoin is hovering over 30,300. Now, why would there be a bull trap? And if there was a bull trap, then where's the liquidity? Because in my liquidity heat map, guess what you're not seeing? You're not seeing available liquidity at any range, and you would normally see it on any sort of heat map. So it's not there. It doesn't exist. So here we are. Next up, the UK just passed a bill to recognize cryptocurrency as a regulated financial activity. So now we're getting clarity in the UK market. We got clarity in the European market. We've got clarity, or we're receiving more clarity in the Chinese market. The Indian market is still a little bit weird. The Arabic markets are absolutely crystal clear. Australian market is a little bit murky at this point. Japanese market is very clear, crystal clear, in fact. And most of the European Union, we do have some good clarity. But again, at the beginning, we are at the beginning of this. We're at the beginning of making all of this stuff fit together. And while we're at the beginning of it, there's going to be days when things just don't match up and don't make a whole lot of sense that we would like to make sense. So it's not all fitting perfectly together, but we're starting to get a lot of clarity everywhere. Coinbase has now filed a motion to seek a dismissal of the SEC's legal case based on the definition of a security. Coinbase has walked into court today and showed them why everything is not a security, how it doesn't match up to the Howey test. And here we are right now. The SEC is going to have about a week to respond. The SEC is going to say, security, because it's a security, because a security is a security, and because it's a security, that makes it a security. And, they're going to have to give some kind of clarity as to if so. First of all, if Coinbase is saying this is not a security based on this information, based on this data, then it's not a security. So you're going to have to get clarity from the SEC, or the SEC is going to have to provide some sort of clarity to prove their case, because Coinbase has now said none of this adds up. Judge, do you agree? So the SEC will have to respond on why they're saying that this is a security. And once that happens, by the way, just so you guys understand, that's a moment in time where we're going to get clarity. We're going to get clarity, and we're going to know. So the number one question, is it a security because you can stake it and you can gain off of it? Or are we just saying that the underlying asset by itself is a security? So if the underlying asset is being said to be a security, make sure you hit the like button on the way in. We only have 33 likes. We got 70 people watching. By all means, help me out, help a brother out. Let's get that going. Looks like Pepe2 is having a reversal. Guys, I cannot stress this enough. Ryo, I cannot stress this enough. I know you're passionate on Pepe 2.0, but I am imploring you right now to take profit. This thing is, the liquidity pool on this thing is minuscule. Okay. You are going, like, tokens like Pepe 2 are designed to rip you off. Like, that is literally the purpose for the token. And I hope that people I hope that we're savvy enough after all this time to see that's what it's doing, right? Like, it's here to rip you off. How is it here to rip you off? It has a $21 million market cap, but it only has 787,000 in liquidity. Okay. That's a 3% liquidity pool. So everybody in here who thinks that they're a millionaire, try to cash out. There's not enough money for you to cash out. You are not a millionaire. And this thing just went way, 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 way down again. And if you are sitting here thinking that Pepe 2 is going to have some kind of magnificent run, look, you got one. It was called Pepe. You got a market move. That market move was very, very nice. And there continues to be other ones. There's Raptor Jesus. There's the Bible of whatever the that one is. There are still gems out there that will run for a short period of time. But guys, you've got to take your profits and stop trying this pie in the sky shit. In a liquidity pool of 3%, you are not a millionaire. I cannot stress this enough. You have no shot of becoming a millionaire on Pepe 2.0. It's a 3% liquidity pool. They're telling, and by the way, go back to Pepe. Who made $1 million on Pepe? They can tell you about 3 or 4 people who became millionaires off of Pepe. So I'm going to once more implore you, take your profits, get your money off the system. Save. You want to put a moon bag in, you want to leave a moon bag in, go ahead. I mean, do you, but you are going to get fucking devastated. You're going to get wrecked. Here's what's going to happen. Okay. Here's what's going to happen. Everybody who is in Pepe 2 right now, who is not up, is down. Everybody who is down right now, you're fucked. You're not going to get your money back if you bought anywhere near the top. You will never get your money back. And I'm going to show you. Actually, I'm not going to show you. I'm going to point out every other token in this market that was responsible. I'm going to ask you to go look up Bob. I'm going to go ask you to go, what were the derivatives of Bob? Baby Bob? Go look at Baby Bob. Go look at everything. Go look at all of these, okay? Don't take my word for it. Don't take my word. Tell me how many times you've seen this right here, and then tell me how it plays out. And if you want, we'll do a couple of them, right? Let's do Mong. So Mong, massive run, right? And Mong, by the way, had a nice little run over the last couple of days, was actually up about a 70% or something like that over a couple of days. But let's go take it to the day chart and let's go look what happened here. It came down right here. Now it had a nice little secondary run. After that secondary run, super passionate, Pepe 2, probably super passionate. This is what's going to happen. It's going to come up here. It's going to come into this area. It might stretch itself up here, not going back to the all-time high. It's going into the tank right now. But it's right about here. Like, it's literally, here's the goddamn blueprint of what's getting ready to happen on Pepe 2. So maybe you get this pump right here, by the way, 59 up to 15. So you might get another 2x out of this. You might get another 3x out of this on Pepe. You might also not get a chance. RFD, here's RFD. And here's the day chart on RFD. RFD did the exact same thing and never recovered. Never recovered. And RFD has 5 million in liquidity, and it has a 50% liquidity pool. And it never recovered. Here's 4chan. 4chan, this was the one that was going to do $1 billion. This was going to $1 billion, right? Well, here's 4chan right now, continuing to come down. That reversal that Mong had, 4chan didn't have. But let's take it a step further. Bob. Remember Bob? Bob's liquidity is 975, has a market cap of 800. Bob is a better product than Pepe 2, okay? Bob had a little run back up over here. Again, it had this big dump. It's right here. This is where Pepe 2 is right now. It had this little pump back up a little bit, and then guess what? Down in the dumpsters. Every single one of these is the exact same thing. Every one of them. So I am imploring you, don't fall for this shit. Don't go into Telegram and don't Don't start reading through Telegram and hearing a whole bunch of people in there going, we mooning, dog. We doing this. Yeah, baby. It's going. You have 3% liquidity. So every time somebody puts 1 ETH in there, it looks like a massive buy. It runs up the market cap. It's not running up the liquidity pool. And I hope you guys are understanding that, because you're getting 3 times as much market cap. Just imagine this. If you had a liquidity pool of 1 million for every 10 million, you should have $2 million or $3 million at 20 or 30 million market cap. You should have $2 or $3 million in liquidity. When you only have 700,000, then what that means is every time somebody puts in 1 ETH, the market cap goes up like 3 times what it should go up, but you still can't cash that money out. It's lying to you and it's faking you out. And I implore you to pay attention to this stuff, because that matters so much. So make your money, get your money, and don't get wrecked off of this with this crazy ass pie in the sky. So what are the results so far? We've got 43 votes here. 53% said that we are in a bull run. And let's go over here. 53% said we are in a bull run. And 46%, 55 to 45 is how it was. So we're saying, yes, we're in a bull run. So, yeah, that's what we're doing. So we'll check back into that a little bit later on. We're starting to get down to the bottom of the Bollinger Bands over here, but we've eaten up most of it. You can see here, it looks like a little bit of a reversal. But going back to this, so Coinbase might have this whole thing broken out. Fidelity officially files for the spot Bitcoin ETF. How is this not a bull market? How are we not at the beginning of a bull run? Dawn for Bitcoin, $5 billion in options expire and could push the price towards 31,000 tomorrow. Do you know why? Because it's an options day. This is the big expiry day. So the options to buy Bitcoin at these prices are going to expire on Friday. So you have to make a decision. It's decision day for people who want to, and to have all these options sitting out there. If they get filled, the price is going to run. If they don't get filled, the price is going to come down. So here we go. Now, while we're at that, which is going to pump the market, North Carolina advances a bill to study holding Bitcoin and using crypto to hedge against inflation. And I'm going to point out Michael Saylor, who said it best. And I'm going to get, you know what, actually, we're going to do this as a little bit of a rant. Your Pop and Stecky are so pissed that you're fading Pepe too. Well, hey, look, they don't know me. Your Pop famously went on Rodney's show and said, I don't know who Believes is. So whether I'm fading it or not, who gives a shit, right? But I'm the one that's going to be safe. I'm the one that's going to give you little wins here and there. You get wrecked every once in a while. I can't fix that. Sometimes you're just going to get wrecked because some of these projects are bullshit. Like you never know. But here's the thing. At the end of the day, I'm going to give you a couple wins here and there, and you're going to make money every once in a while here and there. And then when we get to the bull run, everything's going to make money. Now, I'm going to stick with I'm going to stick with projects, by the way, a lot longer than some other people, because just like I think Saitama is going to have another run, and I think that people can get fixed. I don't think you're going to have an all-time high with Saitama. That's nonsense. But I do think that it's going to have a nice little run. Pepe 2 is not going to have a nice little run. Pepe is going to have a nice little run. It's got 120,000 holders. It's going to have a nice little run. Volt will have a nice little run. There are plenty of them out here that are going to have nice little runs. 100x Gems is actually building a platform in which you can launch. You can build your own smart contract. You can build and you can launch on their deployer. That one has a chance. It doesn't mean that it's going to be a $1 billion project, but it does mean that it could be a $1 billion project. It's got some opportunity. So we'll see what happens. But again, we got to have an altcoin season. We got to have an altcoin run to make something like that happen. At this point, we haven't seen that portion. So when people are saying, when 45% of you are saying, well, we're not in a bull run yet, I understand why you feel that way. But if we go look at Bitcoin dominance was 71% at the beginning of 2021, and nobody seems to be remembering that as we sit here and talk about how, Bitcoin going back up to 60%, that spells the end of altcoins. What dummy posts that? Oh yeah, altcoin daily, my bad. I just, some of this stuff doesn't make any sense. It's just, it's just stuff. But if your pop wants to come on and watch me, tell them to tune into the channel. Anyway, North Carolina advances a bill to study holding Bitcoin using crypto as a hedge against inflation. And now this is where I get back off of the rant on your pop and go to my rant, which I was going to talk about before. And that was there were only 21 million at best Bitcoin, which means that the internet money, and Bitcoin's not going to be the only one, but it's going to be the majority one, right? So if you have one Bitcoin, you have 1/21 millionth of most of the money in cryptocurrency. Well, what happens when that market cap continues to rise? You have 1%, or you have 1/21 millionth of that. Like, that's crazy. That's absolutely bonkers. So make sure you hit the like button on your way in, by the way, if you're just now coming in. But you have 1/21 millionth. Now, here's the thing. If you I'm just going to give you an example here of why Bitcoin is so important. Remember, this is a store of value at this point. It's going to go up. So remember that, right? Remember that the price on that is going to go up. Okay. So it's always going to be more valuable. Now, there's going to be cycles. There's going to be ups. There's going to be downs. But generally speaking, every 10 years, you're going to see more value out of it than you saw 10 years before, right? But here's where it gets interesting, right? If you were to put your money in a bank right now and you were to do an interest-bearing savings account, you would get at best 5%. But inflation is about 7 to 8%. So you're losing 2 to 3% by letting a bank hold on to your money. Now, the S&P is doing a little bit better than that, but it's not keeping up with inflation either. So it's just barely making you ahead. It's keeping you kind of even. And if you assume that you're putting your money in for another 30 years, let's say, and in 30 years, you put $1 million in the S&P, in 30 years, maybe you'll have $3 million, but inflation will have gone up so much that $3 million is only worth $1 million. That's what it comes down to. So you have no chance in the current system of winning because the return that you have, like that's, you have no chance. Bitcoin is your chance, and there are other chances that you're going to get. And look, my best advice to any and everybody here is this: every coin, every token, every cryptocurrency that you like should be your chance to flip the profits from it into Bitcoin. If you're sitting on a bag of Pepe 2 and Pepe 2 doubles and you put $1,000 in it and you now have $2,000, the best thing that you could do for yourself and for your future, the best thing that you could do is go buy $1,000 worth of Bitcoin and then hope that it continues to run. That would be the best thing that you could do for you. Now, if your risk tolerance is a little bit higher and you get lucky every once in a while, and again, remember, when we get into an actual bull run that includes altcoins, not just Bitcoin, but when it includes all of the altcoins, you're going to be throwing money at stuff. And just, by the way, if you know one of my buddies, I'm going to talk about him. I'm not going to tell you what his name is, but he's in the chat most of the time. He had in 2021, he made $16 million. Okay. He thought that he was a genius. He thought he was the Bleeves of investing in shitcoins, and he just tossed it at everything and $16 million. Okay. And then he lost $9 million in 2022. Do you know why? Because he continued to do it the same way he was doing it before, because it worked during the bull run when everything worked. Because you throw money at everything and you look like a genius. So he lost $9 million. Imagine losing $9 million. That's absolutely insane. And the lesson that he learned is he doesn't know shit about this, right? There are market cycles and you have to play the market cycles. and you have to take the opportunities when you have the opportunities. Now, let's also remember, Philip, we do say ouch, but guess what? I mean, you guys still made $8 million, right? You know, he still made a gigantic amount of money. So he's not unhappy, but he's out 9 million. Like that kind of stuff it happens all the time, by the way. You know, we don't always see it because, you know, it's not real money until you cash out, shit like that. So we don't always see that, but it always happens. I saw somebody the other day that made $30 million, and I said, dude, that's a decent haul. And he's like, yeah, bro, but I'm going to lose 20 million next week. So, you know, and even if I'm up 10 million, I'll probably lose that the week after. You know, like, all I'm trying to do is make enough money to pull out. Like he made $30 million, and you know how much he pulled out? He pulled out $50,000 because that's how much he needs, right? And then the rest of it, he's just risking, because that's his risk, and he made $50,000 off of it. And you know, he has so much money in crypto that it doesn't matter. So it's absolutely insane, right? Now, so back on track here. You don't know. The best thing that you can do is take everything that you win in the crypto lottery, put it into Bitcoin. Here's the thing. If you have one Bitcoin, at some point you will have $1 million if Bitcoin does what people predict it to do, right? If not, you'll have 100,000 in what, 2 years? I mean, really, you're going to have $100,000 in 2 years at a $30,000 Bitcoin right now. Now, just imagine if you had a nice little run up. Let's just imagine you had $10,000 to play with, and you 5x'd tonight, right? Holding on to, let's say, Pepe 2, right? So you're holding on to Pepe 2, and you got $50,000. And what are you doing? What's your mind doing right now? Your mind is like, oh shit, I'm going to be a millionaire when I go to bed, right? Because your greed is kicking in, and you're not thinking clearly about your profit. But you should be taking your $50,000 and then backing away and then surveying the situation, saying, all right, I got a big win. Now what am I going to do? Right? Put some in Bitcoin. Buy some Bitcoin. Buy some Bitcoin, and then sit down and see if you can buy the dip. If you believe in the project, see if you can buy the dip and see if you can do it again, remembering that it's not going to be as high the next time the run comes. I mean, that's it. That's all this is. That's all this market is, right? If you keep doing that with an eye towards putting some of that money into Bitcoin every single time, before you know it, you'll have a Bitcoin. Then before you know it, you'll have 2 Bitcoin. Then you'll have 3. Then when Bitcoin runs up to 100,000, you'll have $300,000 in Bitcoin. And if it's near the top, and if it keeps going and the market's continuing to descend, and at the end of this, we're at like 200,000 Bitcoin, you have $600,000. What are you supposed to do? Well, you fucking sell it. Why do you sell it? Well, because you're going to go through another market dip, and that dip is going to take about 2 years. So then all you have to do is remember the dip, remember where the dip is. And by the way, I can make this actually it's pretty fucking simple, right? Let's go back and let's find the dip. Where was the, we're going to do Bitcoin right here, and we're going to do it on a daily chart, and we're going to look right here, and our dip, our bottom, which was right here in this 15,000, where was it? 4 years ago. It was at the top 4 years ago. So where is the bottom in 2 more years? The bottom in 2 more years is now going to be 67,000. So guess what? If you make 600,000 because your Bitcoin goes up to 200,000, you need $200,000. Keep the other 400,000 out, but keep 200,000. You know why? Because at the top, when this hits the bottom again in 2 to 4 more years, or whatever time it is, like 3 more years. In 3 more years, you're going to hit the bottom. The bottom's going to be about 66, 67, 68, 69,000. And guess what? You got 3 more Bitcoin, and you do this shit all over again. And it's going to keep doing that. Like it's just that easy. The problem here is the amount of time that it takes, right? You guys want to make this money. We all want to make it quick. So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to find a good way. Julio Don here. Perfect. I got into Pepe 2.0 at 500K market cap. I took out my initial investment, so I'm not selling. There you go. And that, you know what? If that is what you want to do, that is perfect, because now your mark is about $1 million, right? Because you took your initial investment out. So now your value on it is 1 million. So at 20 million market cap, you're up 20x. It's worth it. If it dips to 10 million market cap, you're still up 10x. Julio Don, he won the game. Now, the best thing for Julio Don to do is, in the event, unlikely but possible, but in the event Pepe 2 drops all the way down and you see that it doesn't look like it's going to have that big run again, like it doesn't look like anything massive is going to happen. If it doesn't look like it at 26 million, and you start to get that move that I'm talking about, and you get that move back down, and it completely comes down here, and you're at this, you know, from here down to like 3,000, and you're at like 15x or something like that, and you're up 15x. Take half of that back out. Take that out as a nice profit. Let the rest of it ride, because you're still way up, right? That's all you got to do. And then take that money, put it in Bitcoin. That's all you got to do. Like this is so simple. All you got to do. By the way, WAGMI is up big. Something's happening over at WAGMI. Starting to get some nice big buys coming in on WAGMI. 14 ETH buy, a 2 ETH buy, a 3 ETH buy. You know what? This might be Bitmart coming into play. I did see something the other day that said that Bitmart was in the game and was a player. So let's go look. Now, I think that might be just a buyer here. Let's go look and see. Yeah, this is just somebody who's a normal investor in WAGMI. Here's all the WAGMI transactions. They've been buying this for a long time. So, well, they've been buying for the last 30 days. And it's not a named wallet. So I think this is just somebody who keeps buying. And they sold a couple times. Yeah, they sold a couple times. And then it looks like maybe they're trying to play the market a little bit and accumulate. So, good for them. Hopefully that works out for them. But I do think I do think Bitmart comes in here and starts to make a lot of buys. We heard that they were buying, or we heard that they were about to buy. So, guys, if you're not in WAGMI at this point, there is some rumblings, or there were some rumblings about Bitmart. I think it was. I'm going to go over here to WAGMI. WAGMI Games. WAGMI Games has been talking about, so WAGMI Games gets listed on Bitmart Exchange. We're just barely begun. It's Monday, July 3rd. So in 4 days, they're going to be listed on that exchange. Now, we got to go check the wallets out and see if Bitmart is in this mess here. And I don't see Bitmart yet. I see Overdog. Nope. So on page 2, are there any Bitmart wallets? So I don't see any Bitmart wallets yet. Generally speaking, you would see a Bitmart wallet in the first couple of pages. And because I don't see that, I would think that Bitmart is about to ape in here with a big buy, and they're going to start accumulating. So if you guys want an inroad, it might be possible to do that. And this piece of shit's in there. Bart Baker. Isn't he from China? Isn't Bart Baker that isn't that guy from YouTube that moved to China a while back? Or was he lying about that? I'm just kidding. He's just one of those kiss asses that sucks up to Scott. Scott's my guy, so I'm not gonna say anything bad about Scott, but oh, here we go. Bitmart 3. So Bitmart has a little bit in their wallet. They are starting to accumulate. You can see that right here. So we can go check this wallet out and see what kind of buys they've been making so far. They've made one buy of a very small amount 1 day and 23 hours ago. So you'll start to see some accumulation from Bitmart over the next day or two for that. So let's go finish off this, by the way. The state of crypto, corporate adoption. And here is the important part that was going to be the summary before I got super sidetracked with all this shit. More than half, 52% of the Fortune 100 companies have now pursued crypto. That is a Gigantic number. Now look, here we are at the final page, right? $30 billion in volume, 1.17 trillion in market cap, down a little bit on the day, down, starting to push down. I mean, let's make this short work, you know. But so we've got this day kind of pushing down on us, right? This day doesn't matter. This day is just a day. That's all it is, right? We go back over here to Bitcoin. We take this, we put it on the day chart, and we look at it this way. And now we zoom out just a little bit. And where are we? Look, I know I know this is a disaster, but it's my goddamn disaster. So if you don't like it, anyway. I can get rid of this because I already did that one. So we're consolidating again before another big move. This right here is what happened over here, by the way. So if you guys are wondering what I'm seeing, this is what I'm seeing, and this is I'm seeing it play out again from this big move and from this big move. So I'm looking for a move to the upside. Now, let me not do that shit again. Let me come down here and let me see the same thing happened over here, and you can see that happening right here. We had a little bit bigger move, but it did the same thing, and then it double topped, right? Then we did the same thing over here, and it made that big move right afterwards. And then what did it do? Then it double topped, and then it came back down, right? So what are we looking at right now? Well, if this is the case, and that's how it's playing out, then again, we're going to take the bar pattern, because it's all we got to do is take the bar pattern from the low to the top, and then say from here to here, and that tells me where we're going next. Where are we going next? 37,300, son of a bitch. It's almost like, doesn't matter how I do the math, we're headed to 37,300. It is absolutely programmed in. So that's why this is so simple. It is so simple. We are programmed in. We're going to have another big move. It's going to end up at 37,310. Then we're going to consolidate. Then we're going to come down and we're going to start testing the lows again. How do we test the lows? We have the double top. And then after we have the double top, what happens? Then we get into this bullshit right here, which takes us back down, right? So then we come down over here. Do we test outside of this line? Well, it's possible that I don't have this line aligned perfectly on this parabolic curve. Like I might have it a little bit off because this kind of wicked out here. So I may not have it exactly right, but I got close to right. So this might happen here. Matter of fact, if we move this out just a little bit, there we go. If I do that, and I say that, this is still the curve. No, that doesn't work. That actually doesn't work for me. So we got to, yeah. Yeah, that's not exactly right for me here. Like maybe there's a little play in it like that, maybe, but anyway, you get my point. My point is it's still going to happen. It's all still underway. It's all still in play. Then the next dump comes down to about 30,000, which is, by the way, see, this is the top right here. This was the top of I can't make this shit any easier. This is the top of the previous, right? Well, this is the top of the previous right now. And then after this run, we're going to come to this one. So where are we coming next? This is where we're going to be. Once we get to the top, you're going to short it to 31,000, and then you're going to make money, because that's the way that this is going to work. Okay. It's pretty simple at this point, right? All you have to do is make sure that you're buying the bottom, selling the top, and then doing the same thing. And then buying the top, selling the bottom. It's just simple, right? All you got to do is just keep doing it. So there we go. This is easy, right? Now, guys, if you appreciate this content, by the way, let me do this. Let me close this out a little bit. Let's get into the alts just for a second here. I think we covered pretty much everybody. We got sidetracked a little bit. Grumpy Cat, guys, I don't know what to tell you about Grumpy Cat. Like I keep thinking it's going to have a run, that's going to do something, and then I have no idea what the fuck is happening on this chart right now. All I know is that this stupid shit happens, and then every day this dude comes in and does this front running bot to make it look like there's a gigantic amount of volume here, which is ridiculous. And I think at this point it's detrimental. But 65.88, because guess what? Every time we get up into that range of where it starts to look good, I don't think that There's maybe some people that are buying the bottom and flipping it, but I don't think so. Because if you come over here and you look at this, like this is just one person. They have no buys. This is like a pre-seller who just slowly keeps trying to keep them down or something like that. So I don't know what to tell you about Grumpy Cat. RFD, dead. 4chan, Loyal and PSYOP, I do not see a way forward for them. It turns out you can't say the N-word if you're a white fuckboy from Denver, Colorado, who pays his baby mama in cash so that she'll say weird shit for him on camera. You know, it turns out you can't use the N-word after all, despite that he thought he could, because, hey, you may not know this, but he listens to rap music. So it's basically like he's black himself. You know what I mean? Like that seems to be the logic this guy is using. So I don't know. I'm still going to hold on to the tokens. I'm not going to support it in any way. But you know, I'm going to hope that at some point there is some kind of reversal, or that you know, something positive happens out of it, or that he just does something to try to save face, to prove to everybody that he's not a piece of shit. You know what I mean? Like he might throw a bunch of liquidity at this thing at any moment, just be like, all right, guys, I'm fucking done. Cash out, do whatever. I don't care. Or, you know, whatever. So, you know, maybe we'll see something happen and we'll be able to cash out. But I'm only out $1,100 on the whole thing. And I think it's still worth like $600 total. So I'm not even down a gigantic amount, but I'm really annoyed by the whole thing. So, but that's pretty much it. Ben, again, a little bit of sell-off with the Asian market. Always seems to happen. Once it hits this floor of 7,000, it does reverse and it comes back up. So 78, and it's done it a couple times here, by the way. So it's coming back down with this convergence here. So, you know, I think it runs maybe to 76 at best this time coming around. So, you know, we'll see what happens. Hopefully, anyway. Ben keeps telling me he's got some big things getting ready to happen. So, you know, we'll see whether some things happen or not. So this is not financial advice. My name is Bleeves. I'm always right. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. I hope you appreciated all of that. Trying to be that fountain of knowledge for you and let you guys know. Guys, it's all about Bitcoin at this point. It is all about Bitcoin. So just stick with Bitcoin. And that's what's going to get you through to the next one. And by the way, again, like I'm not telling you what to do, but what I would recommend that you do is NordVPN, sign up, because that helps me tremendously, right? Just take the time, go sign up over there, get your 90 days free out of it, get me the signups that I need so that they support me, and then go over to MEXC, sign up at MEXC, start trading, do a little futures, put $100 in there and see if you can predict the right direction. Don't use much leverage. I also, go look at my video today. I did a video today. If you take the time, just go look at it, go test it out and see what you think. If you like it, then give it a shot. If you don't like it, if you're afraid of it, don't do anything. Figure out for yourself what's best. And then hopefully it all helps me out at the end. Anyway, you guys take care, and I will see you for breakfast in the morning.
Whoa, another shot of the bullet. Loaded, got complex, cocking and pulling. That bottleneck look like the Loch Ness. What are we doing? I'm about to fall out, boy, in the proofs and the pudding. So, can we forget about the things I said when I was strong? I ain't mean to call you that. I might